The truth is, there isn't Jesus anywhere in the Old Testament. Jesus is the man that was born, that was the human outcome of this process of incarnation. We don't find Jesus as such anywhere in the Old Testament, but we also, secondly, can't read issues of fulfillment back onto the Old Testament. So once again, as I said, we can't say, oh, yes, David was a Christian because he was saved. The scriptures don't call David a Christian. The scriptures recognize him as a faithful covenant son of God, a faithful adherent to God's covenant, a faithful Israelite, a man who trusted God and who was in that sense justified through his faith. But David didn't believe in Jesus. You see what I'm saying? And so we have to recognize again the development throughout the salvation history. We can't even say that Abraham's faith had the same content as David's faith. Jesus says of Abraham, he saw my day. Abraham understood that God was going to do this great restorative work, gathering all the nations back to himself in and through a descendant to come from him. But that's all Abraham knew. He didn't know this guy Jesus was going to come and die on a cross. He didn't know any of that. He saw the day when God would do this great work. And by the time David comes along, this developing revelation of God David had a greater insight, even as it related to him and the promise that this would involve a royal son and God would establish my house and my throne and my kingdom forever. So we don't want to read New Testament fulfillment back onto the Old Testament. But at the same time, we have to recognize that the Old Testament was building the case for the messianic person and work.